What's going on YouTube? I am Gridsquare and today I want to discuss the new Anthem 1.0.3 patch. And trying a little green screen action too, so now you guys can see my fat ugly face while I narrate this serenade. And I'm really pleased. I really think the new patch has done a world of good for the game. A lot of you naysayers are going to say, oh well, this should have been something they implemented in the first place. Sure, but let's just be thankful they have a team of developers that actually really care what we think, and they're doing a decent job. And the patch came a little sooner than expected, and that's always a good thing. You know, I was really surprised to see a Saturday morning patch, and so far I'm really pleased with it. The audio bug, which was probably my #1 complaint, because it's ruined so many of my game footage captures I want to show you guys, that I can't stand having footage with no sound, and then you just have to put a bunch of random techno music or something while you narrate, and I'm just not a fan of doing it that way. So the audio bug has been fixed. I don't know anybody that's still having the issues with it, which is outstanding. It's a lot of stability fixes. The loading screen time still the same. You can now, a huge thing is whether group and solo, no matter where you are in Fort Tarsis, you can now hit a button and you'll go right into your Javelin suit and load the map. So it makes downtime between missions, it's just, you know, a comfort of life thing. So today on GM3, wanted to run the, I didn't want to go with my Voltaic Dome build. I went with the firewall. I've been trying to get better with this, so I've been practicing with it, and it's phenomenal. I definitely have seen the light with it. I still enjoy, for certain missions and scenarios, I still think the Voltaic Dome would run better if the group comp is right. But for pugging and just really just general nonsense, the firewall is absolutely amazing, and I've got the legendary version. Now I wish mine would have had a plus 200% charges instead of 1, because mine's got 3, so I can use mine 3 charges. A few others I've seen can do 4, which would just be phenomenal. Now pairing with that, I've got the consumable, which gives you 30% gear recharge. Probably mandatory. I think that's mandatory for anybody. Is for GM3, you want to be able to use your gear 30% more. So go ahead and do that. Now this group and I, with 2 Colossus and 2 Interceptors, and met them on the Anthem Discord, and we did about 3 hours of free play before I filmed this, and we had a blast. I mean, we were crushing things, and we fought Titans, we fought every other mob combo out there, with the exception of the Iskari, whatever that 4-legged tank monster thing. We couldn't find one of those. But every other combination of monsters out there, we fought and had 0 struggles whatsoever. Now, when we got to the legendary contract portion here, I told him, I was like, hey, I want to actually, you know, film this and make a video this morning. And for whatever reason, because I told him we were being recorded, people just started getting kind of weird. We didn't work together so well, and you'll see we're split up, and we struggled. This mission, you're going to see this kicked our butts. And we just could not get our ducks in a row again. And you'll see these elementalists, that's the only mob that is just insane. An element to me, and one of these elementalists are tougher than a Titan. And we fought 3 today, and none of them. Titans now, you can drop fire and elements on them, and you can be primed, they do damage. Firewall just melts them. I mean, they stand still the whole time, so you can just keep dropping firewall, firewall, firewall. And because their arms count as 2 targets, it'll refresh the masterwork, and you can just keep dropping it. It's phenomenal. I absolutely love that. That Titans are a joke now. But these elementalists on GM3, I believe these elementalists, this is the hardest mob in the game. Probably next to a Fury. Fury and these elementalists, they hurt. Another one, notice right here, these shotgun mobs. The elite shotgunners. If you're not a Colossus, these guys will 2-shot you. And that's what kept killing our group here. The Interceptors, these shotgun guys would sneak up behind them and just tearing them down. One shot got your shield, and then the other shot just put them down. So GM3, that 1,000 or 900 something % damage modifier, it's no joke. You know, and old Thiccboi, my school bus here, he's pretty tanky, but I was getting tore up, and I'm glad best defense. There's no question. If you're not running best defense, you're absolutely insane. You're not going to make it. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about the acid launcher or 200% combo damage grid. You should be using that. F that noise, man. The amount of damage you take, you got to have best defense. There's just no way around that. So, God, yeah, it's just such a struggle, you know. And this mission kicked our butts. And until this, I mean, 3 hours of playing in GM3, and I never died once. You know, had a few close calls, but you know, best defense kept me going. But man, these elementals, I mean, look, they have so much health. And before you could even, I mean, I couldn't even break him down to half health, and his shield's already popped up, and I ran out of ammo. So the big thing with these elementalists is you got to work together. You absolutely have to work together, focus them down. A storm would have, I think a storm or a ranger would have made this much less of a struggle. And I believe, you know, Anthem, I've said it probably a dozen times, that Anthem is definitely, it's just like Diablo 3. It really is. Your group comp absolutely matters when you get to the hard difficulty. You know, when you're on the easy mode stuff, you can add whatever you want. 4 of the same class. You can have 4 Thiccbois out there, 4 interceptors, and just ninja star everything to death. That's fine, but when you get to the hard mode difficulties, GM3, composition and build matters. And even with this patch that has made things easy, because from what I'm reading, and once again, later tonight I'm going to show you guys the difference on it. I'm going to run a GM2 Tyrant Mind, and then I'm going to run a GM3 right after. And I'm going to try to split screen the damage on, like, how long does it take to kill a turret, you know, on this mob on GM2 to 3, how long did it take to kill it, you know, different phases, the boss. So I'm going to try to do it. It's going to be probably a 30 to 40 minute long video. I'm going to apologize for the length, but I want to do a direct comparison on the difference of tuning between GM2 and GM3 Tyrant Minds with this new patch today. And I'm going to try to, hopefully I can do it with the same group, and that way it'll show, like, hey, this is just, you know, it's a controlled experiment. I want to keep as few variables as I can, but I want to show the damage difference and the HP difference and how well it goes. So, God, these elementals, I'm sorry, this is painful for me to just watch this over and over again. It's the 3rd time I've actually tried to record this, and they just do so much damage. It's just incredible how much, and the shields. I really do. I think the Storm and Ranger shield poppers, that would have definitely made this less of a struggle, because those, God, they just hurt so much. Hurt so much. So comp's important, guys. And one thing I did notice with our drops today, I got a lot more universal components. So say one of your javelins is leveled up really well and you've got all the good gear for it, but you want to start putting gear on your other one. You know, it's really hard to go back to hard or really GM1. Like, honestly, if you've got a level 30 tune with masterwork weapons, you could probably run GM1 no problem now. That's how the tuning has changed so much from what I was looking at. GM1, I mean, GM1 was already a joke. If you had 450 or above gear yesterday, GM1 was already a solo joke. I can't imagine how much easier it is right now with the tuning, because from what I'm seeing, GM2 is going to be the new standard of go to free play and go farm on GM2. That's, you know, solo stuff. 3, on the other hand, this is, oh, and then the 3 of us went down here. I thought we were going to have to respawn. I was going to get really upset. But luckily our interceptor popped his ult when he managed to come and revive all of us. Here he comes. Save the day. And that ult must do something. I need to look up what it does, because he is just taking... He gets hit 20 times there and didn't die, so that ultimate must have some dodge or gives you some kind of resistance. But, I mean, right there, I mean, I came back up and my shield was just gone immediately. So GM3 is still no joke. They didn't make it any easier. That's one of the things somebody was asking me, oh, well, did they nerf the game? No, they didn't nerf anything. The content is still just as hard as it was yesterday, but they've buffed us. They've made our characters stronger. So the game didn't get easier. They've just, you know, made us stronger. So depending on how well you play, that's what makes it easier. If you play well with the changes, you're going to be okay. But like here, you know, for whatever reason, I couldn't get everybody to stay together and focus on one mob. I kept yelling, and I had to mute this chat here because I started swearing a little bit. I was getting frustrated. You know, I'm telling these guys, like, and right here, if I'm like, yeah, hit the elementalist. Which one do we hit? The one on fire. The one on freaking fire. And then finally everybody's like, oh, okay. So, you know, I get pretty salty in the game, and I'm not going to lie. Thankfully the mission, like, we timed out. That's my favorite thing here is if you can't kill anything, luckily after 5 or 10 minutes, the game, I think it's 10 minutes, you know, the game feels bad for you. And it's like, all right, we've been beating your ass for 10 minutes. You know, we're done. We're done. So, next part, bam, fighting the Ursix. And this was fun. You know, I love fighting Ursix with this on GM3 with this fire build. Absolutely love it because depending on how much you move them around, they stand still a lot of the time, and you can just stack damage. And right there, our buddy, he got really mad. You got to watch your environment too. And this was a good spot I want to show you guys about. He dropped down and he's like, "How did this Ursix just freeze me?" Well, he stood next to one of those, like right there, you can see it, that freezing barrel. And we all detonated our skills next to him, and he got frozen. So, you know, pay attention to your surroundings. So sometimes bad things can knock you out, or something bad can happen, and right there. And that was on us. We knew, we shot it, but see right there. I mean, you just keep stacking it. Just watch that tick. I mean, look at that. Look at that damage roll. I love seeing it. And then endless siege, bam, right in the face. He moves around quite a bit. At that range, it's kind of hard to aim. I need to jack my mouse sensitivity up a little bit. But honestly, what I should have done, probably swapped my second weapon. I should put a Devastator on. I'm going to try that later for certain missions like that. For that, I think a Devastator would have, he said, do like a 300k hit. That's always fun. Because in the siege, I'm doing a lot of damage, and one of these days, I do plan to do this. I want to actually count how much damage it actually does in like a full clip. You know, if it's doing, 500 rounds, and I imagine drop, 3,800 a tick. You know, what's the DPS there? One day, not today. And this is just so fun. You could just sit back and just drop fire. Versus, I mean, you see the other Colossus, he's running Voltaic Dome, so he's got to be up in there. You know, and that's the difference in play style. You know, Voltaic Dome, that infinite combo build, you have got to be all up in that thing's grill. Actually, he's not even using Voltaic Dome. I'm wrong on that. He's using the other one. He's using the lightning coil. I just saw it pop up. He said he was using Voltaic Dome. I apologize for lying to you people. But see, it's not bad. And maybe he doesn't have it. I told him if I gave him links to my videos. I'm like, hey, you guys should check this out. And he said he doesn't have a firewall mortar yet. Because he asked me, he's like, how are you dropping so much fire? Got a decent legendary and the gear speed proc. Or not proc, but the consumable. So that's a big one, man. Consumables, I mean, they're not hard to make. They cost 5 purple embers, and if you're doing 1 legendary contract, you're going to get a little bit of loot. So go ahead and use them. I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, I've got about 80 to 90 hours in the game, and I've got probably over 1,000 purple embers sitting in my bank right now that I make about 20 consumables a day, and then I use most of them, and I just try to keep a few. Now for Thiccboi, I use the same ones over and over again. I pretty much keep 30% armor, which is your green HP bar, so 30% more health. I do sometimes I swap it out. I like to keep the 30% autocannon on, which gives you more reserve ammo and 30% more damage on it, which it helps out. Endless Siege is a beast, and it makes a difference on GM3, that damage. And see right there, I managed to keep him still and just melting him in the face, so it definitely matters. The only thing I might swap that out for, and I'm going to play around with this on probably some free play or something, but I possibly would put the Devastator on there, and probably a sniper rifle. Do 30% more damage out of that. See how high I can get a crit. That's one option. But gear speed. You need to have that the 30% gear speed because you need best defense. For GM3 farming, you've got to have best defense up as soon as possible because you take 1 or 2 hits, and even with all the armor and stuff, you're still you're getting trucked. There's no doubt about it. And if you're playing these squishy classes, you need all the defensives you can get. Because there's so much damage that goes out. And the other one I like, and this is one I swap out. You could either do shield recharge, combo damage, and depending on the element, I like to have the fire damage one as well. That does, if you're going to be stacking up your firewall, 30% more damage, makes a difference. So play around with it, but definitely the 2 mandatory ones is for GM3 farming, you need to have armor and the gear speed recharge. You absolutely have to have those 2 for Thiccboi. And see right here, I kept saying, like, can you guys drag him into the fire? And those 2, listen, the 2 on the right, they're like, okay, we're going to stand on the other side of the fire puddle and hopefully he'll chase us. Yeah, look at that damage. It does so much. It does so much. Well, Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this informative. If you like it, crush that subscribe button. If you didn't like it, leave me a comment, let me know why. Thank you guys. Check me out on Twitch if you want. The link is at the end. Thank you all for watching. I'm Gridsquare. Namaste.